Hey there and welcome to my channel. My name is Nina Hendrick and I love to help people create more meaningful and beautiful homes that they can enjoy with their family and friends. I had a different video planned for you today, but unfortunately Mother Nature didn't cooperate with me. I was going to bring you on a yard tour and show you our new landscaping project, but because of the deluge outside and now the soggy yard, I'm going to turn my attention indoors and show you some of the renderings and plans for our upcoming first floor projects. If you didn't catch the 2-year home tour a couple of weeks ago, you may want to watch that first since this video expands on some of the things that I talked about during that tour. So without further ado, let's jump in. And so here is our house, and this software is called Home Designer Pro. It's made by Chief Architect, which is the more advanced version of this software, but Home Designer Pro is a good software to use if you're like me and you're not an expert and you're just kind of playing around. So everything you see in here, the dimensions aren't going to be perfect. It's not necessarily to scale or the way that it will end up looking in the end, but it's a good approximation and it really helps for me to visualize these projects and also share my vision with contractors that we may be working with in the future. So I'm going to start with the living room since that was where we started our tour. And so this is the living room, and I'm going to use the handy 3D tool to give you a 3D view of the space. Here we go. It's going to take a second to render. And there it is. So I told you that I wanted to bring the fireplace down to floor level. I actually talked to Mac, my husband, and we're not going to do that. We're actually going to leave it where it is, which is slightly raised up, and I haven't had a chance to show that in the software yet, but we've decided that trying to mess with that is more than we are willing to take on right now. But one thing that we are going to do in this space is make the bookshelves more symmetrical with the base cabinets. This is something that was really bothering me right now. As I mentioned in the tour, it's kind of like a cube organizer is what comes to mind with the 9 shelves above the bookcases. So this gives it a more symmetrical, classic look with nice proportions. I brought the bookcases up as high as I can get them, and I've added library lights, which I think will be a really nice touch to help it fit with other aspects of our house. Other things in this room, this sofa is obviously not what I will eventually be putting in the space. I don't have any desire to add a plaid sofa, but this is a similar size and style to what I'm envisioning in here. So it's kind of a sectional, which is a little bit different than what we've got going on now with our 2 sofas. But I like the more modern look of this, and I think we will be adding a sectional with a chase element to it. So that will happen in the future. And so moving through our tour, the next room that I showed was the dining room, which is basically done. So we're not doing anything in there. But the powder room is another room that's going to change, and with the software I wasn't able to give as good of a visual as I can with other spaces. This is a console sink and new tile floors, which will be marble, obviously not this exact pattern, and some sort of picture frame molding. But the sink console will actually look more like this one, which this software right here that you're looking at is called Spoke, and it's a way to organize different projects and files that I'm testing out, and so far I really like it. So I'm looking at this sink console from Palmer Industries, and except this metal would all be brass in the case of our powder room. And for tile, I've sourced this really neat mixture of porcelain and marble. I really love the contrast between those two. It's a subtle contrast, of course. Mac would be like, it's white on white, but to me, it's a contrast, and I really like that. So you can also get a little peek at all the other things I'm looking at. This is the inspiration photo, which that's by Monica Hibbs, and some of the little accessories for that room. And it's like our other bathroom, going to be a combination of marble and brass. So that is what is in store for the powder room. And if we go back to our floor plan, the next room we're looking at is around the corner, and that is the laundry room, which I didn't show you a preview of that because it's really just storage at the moment. It's just filled with bins. But this is what the laundry room will look like in the new plan. So right now we don't have any washer and dryer downstairs, because we moved them upstairs to where our kids are. We have 3 kids and they all have upstairs bedrooms, and so there was way more laundry being generated up there. So this is really only for Mac and I. So we feel comfortable stacking the washer and dryer because aside from our laundry, it will really only be linens and some stuff like that, maybe tablecloths and napkins occasionally. So really not the heavy load that the upstairs is having to go through. So having them stacked and having maybe even a smaller model for each will be perfectly sufficient in this space. I really miss having a laundry sink, so I did manage to sneak a tiny laundry sink in here. I did source one that will fit in that spot, which is only a little bit over a foot deep, believe it or not. So it's going to be an interesting little area, but I am told it can be done, so that will be interesting to see come to life. And so we're going to back up a little bit here and we're going to go into the room beside our kitchen. So actually I want to show you this real quick because this is what I designed the kitchen to look like before it even existed. And as you can see from the previous tour, it really did turn out so similar to the rendering. So even I can sneak this way a little bit and show you the coffee area. This is what the coffee area was rendered to look like, and then you can see what it looks like now. So it was really kind of cool to bring that to life. The software is incredible. I really just learned how to play around in this software and figure things out, and it was kind of fun. I don't know if you ever played The Sims, but I definitely did, and that's kind of what this is like. I mostly redesigned houses in The Sims, and that's a lot like the software. And so the other room is off of the kitchen, and that is what we call the pool room or the back porch. Right now it is an extremely underutilized space that is just filled with cushions, outdoor cushions that we aren't currently using. And so the floor looks really dark in here, but it will actually match our mudroom. And you can see that instead of the bench that we currently have, I've added some cabinetry, and in the corner is a dog wash. And yes, Gracie is in fact the most spoiled dog on the planet, but she comes in from outside, particularly in the spring, and she is just no longer a English cream golden retriever. She's suddenly a mud bath. So instead of having that happen, I want to add a space where we can give her a nice bath. And I'll probably leave some kind of console table right here and a painting or a mirror, and this is our access to our back patio. I do want to switch this to a Dutch door. Couldn't find that in this software, but I'm envisioning like a really cool Dutch door. And let me see if I added that to my spoke board for this project. I did. So this is my spoke board for this project, and I sourced this Founder's Dutch door from Rustica to replace the current French door. This is my inspiration, and again, it's Monica Hibbs. I guess I've got to give her a lot of credit on this whole renovation because her house is just absolutely beautiful. But isn't that so adorable? That's pretty similar to what I would like ours to look like in the end. I'm going to come back to the floor plan, and now you can see I've got all these different cameras around the house, and those are the different angles for the rendering. I'm actually going to close out of some of those real quick just because it's going to bog things down a little bit. Alright, and so next up we're going to look at the office, which, oh my goodness, that is my least favorite room in this entire house at the moment. So this is what I want the office to look like after. Instead of that doctor's office linoleum feel, whoa, this is it. And it is so pretty. I am absolutely obsessed with this rendering. It took me a long time to figure out, but I cannot be more pleased with how it looks, and I cannot wait to bring it to life. Now, Mac doesn't work remote as much anymore, but I do have visions of Amy, who is my sweet assistant, being able to work in here with me in the future if she wants to, although she works from home most days. But overall, I'm just adding a lot of storage, a lot of usable storage to this space, and also some better lighting, for goodness sake. We have this overhead, what is that called? Fluorescent lighting right now, and a doctor used to live here and use this as his office, and I'm pretty sure he was just like the guys who were working on his doctor's office. I think he just had them come over and do the office here because that's the vibe in that room, and it gives me a headache and stresses me out a little bit. So those are my own issues, but I think that this beautiful space will definitely be a lot easier to work in. I'm very excited. So this actually is going to be a wrapping paper station. I couldn't show the dowels with my software, but that would be an area to keep gift wrap because I do most of our Christmas wrapping in here. The blue, we're kind of actually undecided on whether it will actually be this kind of slatey blue color. I really like it, but I'm still trying to talk Mac into it. He actually, ironically enough, if you caught my last video, he would never have painted the whole house white, but he thinks that might be too dark. And last but not least, we're gonna head into the primary bedroom. This is a rough approximation of what the primary bedroom will look like. So right now, it's just kind of a blank room. And we've got, in this rendering, some picture frame molding and some more elaborate molding that kind of gives it that primary bedroom feel. I'm hoping to source an old marble fireplace. It's not going to be a functioning fireplace, so it'll be for decorative purposes only, but we have this really cool architectural salvage place near us where they have dozens of these old marble fireplaces. So I would love to find the perfect one to fit there. We'll be adding a frame TV and some sconces over it, and just really overall giving this room the architectural detail it deserves. Lots of molding and a coffered ceiling. That's probably the biggest part of this room. If you've ever done a coffered ceiling or watched one, you probably know that it is a pretty involved project. So the other part of this is currently we have a window going out toward our patio. We'd be adding this French door out to our patio, which would give us access to the fire pit area. So if we were out hanging out at the fire pit, we'd just be able to easily go into our rooms late at night. And just overall, like I said, adding that architectural detail that the room is currently lacking. And here's a little sneak peek of the patio, which I will be showing you soon. And so there you have it. That's our tentative renovation plan for the first floor. It's super exciting, although it's probably not going to be fast. This will likely be taking place in 2024. It's still fun to look forward to, and I feel very grateful to be able to do these projects and add character to make this already beautiful house feel truly like ours. I'd love to have you follow along for our future projects, so if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can see all of these renderings become reality. Until next time.